How's it going? You know what I'm saying? It's September 27th, 2019, Friday at 1:59 p.m. I probably should have had my rescue inhaler before the video. I'm having an asthma attack. Oops. Sorry for the spittle. There we go. Okay, anyway. So what was I talking about? Right, so I was up all night long, and then I was so tired that I just fell asleep, which was nice. Because you sleep real good, real right. But the problem is, I didn't let my mama's cat out. It's supposed to let the cat out in the morning. So I went over, and then I went down and gave the cat food, and cat didn't come down like he normally does. So maybe he's like asleep or depressed or whatever. So I go, he's sitting on my mom's bed, and I pet him, and then I go, I'm like, all right, fine, I guess I'll leave him here. But I'm about to leave the house, and then he kind of pops up, looking at me like, I'm like, you probably want to go out, don't you? All right. So let the cat out. So that means I have to go back to let the goddamn cat back in. So whatever. Maybe it'll be at the end of the day, let them be out there all night because they have their night vision, you know. I think cats have a natural desire to use their night vision. So anyway, I could use the exercise. So because I just ride my bike down there, so it's chill. It's just a bike path. No lights, no nothing. It's awesome. Just a mile away. Okay, so yesterday, yes, there's like all these kingdoms, like feudatory kingdoms in Southeast Asia in the 1800s that popped up, and there's like 50 of them. And you know, like the idea behind my timeline is that it has to be consistent. Like that's the number one rule. Like that's the whole point of my timeline is that the whole thing is consistent throughout the entirety of history because it makes it possible to for the patterns to jump out at you. I want people to be able to learn things about history without even reading words, like or with being able to look at the patterns that are given to you from the CSS borders and the fonts. And when certain things have certain similarities with each other, you know what something is just by the border and the font. And then if you look at the shape of them together, then it'll give you the idea of a general layout of a country. For example, if you go to Transylvania, Romania, and Moldova in the like 1500s, they're all changing dynasties like every year, and then they switch back to this dynasty. So it's like, okay, so what's that about? Were they always fighting, or did they have a really interesting constitution? I actually never even researched that, but then you could easily find where the republics are, where they have magistrates for just 1 year, like Athens, Republic of Rome, Republic of Venice, and Genoa, and then when you go to and you look at the Southeast Asia of the 1800s, you go, oh wow, okay, so what's that? And I'd like to include in my timeline all the little kingdoms as well, though, because I'm gonna include it into Google Earth, and I want to, they say there's all these languages in the world, and I want to know how big all the different languages are, like how big of area was the smallest language, and at one point can it not be a language anymore, and so that could help you with that. I just wanted to have on my timeline every single type of political situation, displayed, and so that's why I put all those up there. I mean, yeah, because it's consistent, and if it's the rule is if it's autonomous, even if it's semi-autonomous, or then I put it on there, but if they're fighting all the time, if they're not fighting all the time, and like the Holy Roman Empire, I have that as just one country. So, so then for some reason, I because I was looking at the Wikipedia and it was the Shan states that I'm talking about, all those tiny little kingdoms in the 1800s in Burma, and so they're like, yeah, the Shan states are like the middle kingdoms of India, in the 500s BC. And so I'm like, middle kingdoms of India. See, this is I built my timeline back in 2011, so my brain memory isn't all that good. So I go back and I look at the Middle Kingdoms and I go, holy shit, there's like 100 of them here. And I was like, well, are they on my website? And yeah, they are on my website, but I think the first one wasn't. So I built the first one, and then I actually accidentally built two that were already there because I had them in the wrong country. Before I had them in India, but they're really in Afghanistan. The Greco-Bactrian, Greco-Indus, Greek satraps of Alexander's kingdom. But yeah, so I like built twice, two of them, but I wasn't so bummed about it. I just thought it was kind of funny. I did a sweep, I read the whole page, and I didn't see it, and then I saw it again. Whatever. So that's why, like, yesterday was a weird day. Like, it was just working my ass off and not getting anything done. Um, so, but I fell asleep and slept great. But so today I'm gonna go and finally finish these kingdoms of, because I bailed on the Southeast Asian ones for the Indian ones. So I was working on that like a long ass time. That's kind of how I am, how I work on my timeline or my whole website. You never know when you're gonna burn out, or it's not burning out. It's more like, it's like anticipating a possible burnout in the future. So what you do, just so you don't have to deal with any kind of distress from burning out, is I go, okay, so what's what's the most easiest thing for me to do right now on my website? As in, like, what's the most interesting thing? How can I combine learning with building? And I go, oh, you know what? I always wanted to know what the cavemen look like. So then I just build my timeline in the cavemen. So, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong now. So I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this stuff, these kingdoms of feudal kingdoms of Burma of the 1800s. And then I don't even remember how I got on that. I think what I'm doing is, I'm fixing links. I'm just kind of randomly bouncing around my timeline, which is like all of history, and finding like kingdoms to link the vertical, the horizontal to the vertical. I'm just doing that, rinse and repeat all day long. So yeah, maybe I'll do that again until I crack. If I smoke a shitload of weed, plus I have a bunch of weed candy, I can do it. But yeah, and then when I crack, that's when I'm gonna do Indo-European invasions, because I don't think, I'm pretty sure I never put in my ancient history timeline, like, you know, the invention of farming, like the domestication of animals, the domestication of the horse came in 4500 BC in like the Ural Mountains north of the Caspian Sea. And then 1,000 years later, in 3500 BC, they started riding horses. They first were eating them, and then they started riding them. And then in 1400 years later, in 2100 BC, and when they started riding the horse, that's when they invented the wheel, just the solid wheel, wood wheel. And then 2100, they invented farming. See, I don't have it all memorized in my head if I haven't put it in my timeline yet. That's why I want to put it in my timeline, because I'm like a visual learner. I'm autistic. So when I look at the timeline and I see like the colors and the shape, I'm like, okay, I get it now. But I think that's when in 2500, that's when they kind of started to move around. And I'll have to watch the video again. I just watch these videos over and over again. And so, but the more I memorize, see, memorizing stuff and learning stuff the first time, and even if you don't know what they said or where it is, you know that it exists. So you go, okay, hey, I need to find that. So then you go and you find it. You look for it and you find it. So y'all have to do that with the connections of mentionings of, high technology and ancient books and stuff. I watched a video and he gave the quotes. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll fix my links on that. So anyway, lots of stuff. I think I've talked too long. It's almost 10 minutes. I want to keep them under 10 minutes. So tomorrow I'm going to do my video. Who knows what's going on. But yeah, I'll be a little bit farther along on all of it. All right, peace out.